What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. Now in this video we are going to be talking about this John Deere S160. So let's start off by talking about where it falls in the John Deere mower lineup. Now the S100s are going to be the entry-level starter position mowers in that John Deere lineup. So we're going to have the S100s, S200s, and we're moving up into the X300s, X500s, X700s. So this is going to be in that initial residential range. Now there are going to be multiple models within that S100 series of mowers. So where this is going to fall in that series is going to be one of the 8 models that's in that class. So you are going to have the S100, the S110, S120, S130, then the S140, then the S160, S170, S180. So we're going to have those. This is going to be the third mower from the top whenever we're talking about being in that S100 series class. So some of the things that this mower is going to have, being up towards the top end of this series, it is going to have the 48-inch deck. It is one of 3 models in the S100 series that has that. Then also it's going to have a special engine on it, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Now, one nice thing about the S160 is it is going to be one of the mowers that, as you can tell, can be sold at one of the big box stores. Today we are here at Home Depot showing off this mower. So one thing I won't be able to do for you is be able to turn this mower on and let you hear how it sounds. But what we can do is go ahead and start by looking at that engine and going over all the service points. All right, so opening the hood, first thing that we're going to see glaring us right in the face is going to be right here on top of the engine. You are going to see a 24 horsepower John Deere branded engine, but keep in mind that this is not going to be a John Deere made engine. This is a Briggs & Stratton extended life series. Now, if you want to make sure that this engine is Briggs & Stratton, all we have to do is go right over here on the side, look for this sticker that actually has the Briggs & Stratton logo on it, and that will ensure you that this is a Briggs & Stratton engine. Now, let's talk a little bit about that extended life series. That is going to be the specialty of moving up to this S160, is that you're getting into that extended life series engine. So what this is going to be just an upgraded engine from Briggs & Stratton that just uses a few upgraded components within that engine to add to the life of it, hence the name extended life series. Whenever we're looking at service points on this machine, if we're starting over here on the right hand side, first thing that we're going to see is going to be our dipstick here with the yellow cap. We can simply give that a twist, pull that out, be able to check our oil level right over there. Moving along here to the front of the engine. Now this is going to be a V-twin engine, so you are going to have 2 cylinders, which means 2 spark plugs. So we are going to have one right here and a matching one over here on the other side. Now, right on top where we showed that John Deere emblem and that 24 horsepower, this is going to be our air filter cover. We're going to have 2 twist screws right here. Simply going to screw those out, pop that cover off, show that filter, and there is where we are going to do our air filter change. Now, moving over here to the left hand side, what we're going to see is our fuel filter for one, and then right back from that we're going to see this large massive easy change oil filter. Now this is going to be the 30-second easy change oil system, where all we have to do to change the oil on this machine is remove this filter, add a new one. This is going to be preloaded with oil, so the only oil change that needs to happen is the oil that's in this filter that you are replacing with a new oil in that new filter. Now, if you want to see a little bit more about this, I've got a couple videos going over this, and I'll go ahead and leave down in the description below. Now, also underneath the hood here, right back behind, is where our battery is going to be. And then if we look up here on the back side of the hood here, this is going to have our service interval chart. That way you can make sure you are doing those daily service things and have that reminder right there on the machine. So now let's go over the operator station. So one thing that is nice about these mowers is you are going to get a nice seat with them. You're going to get a 15-inch high back, open back seat here, making sure that you get a little bit of airflow. Also going to have that open back where it's not going to hold any water, and it is going to have a pretty good amount of cushion for being in that lower series of mower. Now the other nice thing is that with these, they are going to be very, very simple to operate, very easy to use, lots of instruction on the dash and other areas to make sure that you are being informed on what each switch, lever, or pedal is going to do. But I'm going to go ahead and go over all of those with you, starting over here on the left, moving over to the right. So the first thing we're going to have over to the left is our height of cut adjustment. This is going to have cutting heights from 4 inches all the way down to 1 inch and in quarter-inch increments in between. So you are going to have various different cutting heights here to make sure that you're getting that cut height that you need for your lawn. Once we move up from that, we're going to have a pedal over here on the left-hand side. This is going to be our brake and also our parking brake pedal. So the way we use that as a parking brake is we simply push push that in, raise up on this orange lever over here on the left hand side, and then this will actually activate the parking brake on this machine. Now whenever we go back to driving mode, we're going to push that pedal in, push down on that lever. That's going to take that parking brake off and then turn that pedal into a normal brake. Now moving up from that, we are going to have this orange lever here. This is going to be our throttle and choke lever. So with a lot of machines, you'll have two different levers, one for the choke, one for the throttle. This is going to be all combined into one. So as you can see over here on the sticker to the right, we are going to have the picture of the turtle up to the rabbit and then the choke symbol at the very top. So whenever we are going to start this machine for the first time, or if it's been sitting for a while, we're going to push that lever all the way up, past the rabbit, up into that blue choke position, turn the key, start the machine, and then start to dial that lever back down until we're in that full throttle position. Now right below that is going to be a yellow button. This is our RIO button, or our rear implement option button, and basically what this is a safety switch to make sure that you are cognizant of pushing a button and checking your surroundings before going in reverse with those blades on. So if you do want to mow in reverse, you do have to hit this button first and then go in reverse, because if you don't do that and you start to go in reverse with those blades on, it will start to kill that mower deck. So we want to make sure that if we do need to mow in reverse, we're hitting that button, starting to go in reverse, and then once we've started in that rear descent, then we can let off that button and continue to mow in reverse. Then every time in between, if we start to go back forward and mow, we're going to be good to go. But if we need to go back in reverse with that mower deck on, we have to hit that button every time. Now right in the middle is going to be our hour meter, but this is also going to be an electric fuel gauge. So that is one of the nice things about the S160. You're up there high enough in that S100 series that you do get that electronic fuel gauge right there in front of you on that hour meter. Now moving over to the right, we are going to have our key switch over here. The only fancy thing really about the key switch is that you see that you do have a lights position. So once you get this machine turned on, started, if you need those lights for mowing at night, or if it's starting to get just a little bit dark outside and we need a little extra light to see, we can kick that key switch back one notch into that lights position, and then our headlights will turn on. Moving down from that, we're going to have another yellow pop switch here. This is going to be our PTO switch, or our blade engagement switch. So to turn those blades on, we're simply going to pop this button up. To turn them off, we're going to push that button down. Simple as that for turning those blades on and off. And then over to the right, you're going to see some symbols over here that probably look familiar to you if you've ever driven a car that has cruise control, because that is exactly what this is. This is going to be our cruise control switch. So down over here to my right, down on the floorboard, we're going to have two pedals, a forward and reverse pedal. This is going to be our twin touch pedal system that is on all of our John Deere riding tractors. So it's very, very simple. One pedal for forward, one for reverse. You can simply rest your heel on that floor mat, go back and forth with your toe, over to the right for reverse, over to the left for forward. If we're going in that forward position and we are just trucking along, making circles, making long passes, then we have that cruise control up on the dash where we can simply raise up on that, lock that mower into speed, and then you are taken care of and no longer have to push on those pedals. It's going to cruise control just like your car. Now also moving over here to the right hand side, you are going to have a cubby over here with a lid. It's going to be a nice little storage compartment where if we need to put our phone, wallet, keys, whatever those things are, we've got that where we can cover that up. And then right back behind that is going to be a beverage holder. Now one thing that I'd point out before we get away from the operator station is that underneath this seat you are going to have a couple of things. One, you are going to have this spring suspension system to add to the ride quality of that mower, and then also here on the seat itself, you're going to have a lever over here to the side that's going to adjust that seat either forward or backwards. So you do have a lot of comfortability with these mowers. You're going to be able to adjust that seat fore and aft, and you're going to have that suspension underneath. And then also underneath here is where our fuel tank is going to be located. So we're going to have a lid there that is tethered to the machine. You can simply open that lid up, take that loose. You're not going to lose that lid whenever you're filling it up, and that's going to cover up your fuel tank that contains 2.4 gallons of fuel. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the rear of the machine, and one part that does not get enough attention on these. For one, you are going to have the transaxle here at the back of the machine, and this is basically your transmission or your driving motor that runs off the power of the engine to drive this machine. Now what's going to be on these are the TLT 200s. These are going to be your lower residential transaxles, but they are going to be a cast aluminum transaxle. No more plastic on these smaller John Deeres. Just keep that in mind. That is going to be that cast aluminum. Now this transaxle is going to put out a top speed of 5.5 mile an hour going forward and 3.5 mile an hour going in reverse. Some other things about this transmission are that you are going to be a hydrostatic transmission, meaning that that there is no gear shifter like we showed here in the operator station. You have those 2 pedals. So one thing about this is this transmission is never going to be truly in neutral without this lever here. And the only time that you would ever need to use this pull-out lever right here is if you were in a position where you needed to push this tractor to get it out of the way, because once you pull this lever out, you're not only putting this machine in neutral, but you're disengaging the pedal system there at the front. And so we need to make sure that this is always pushed in whenever we're going to be using this machine. Now, a couple of things that you might notice here at the rear of this machine, we're going to have these nice extra fenders over here on the back with that reflective tape. Just a little bit of extra safety measures there for you if you happen to be driving this around the neighborhood. A little extra visibility being put on there with that reflective tape. We're also going to have these 2 black circles here at the top with the 2 holes in them. Now this is going to be our cargo mount system. So this is the system that is put onto these mowers to make sure that you can add certain rear attachments, such things as maybe your bagger kit or a bucket holder. Many different things that can be used for this cargo mount system. Also, you're going to have this rear hitch. So whenever you're wanting to add those different tow type attachments, maybe such things as a lawn sweeper or a tow cart, whatever those things are, you do have this rear hitch. Now this rear hitch and this mower are going to be rated for a 500-pound towing capacity. So any of those pulling attachments, as long as we're not going over that 500 pounds, you're going to be okay back here. Now if you want to see some of these different attachments, I've got another video going over all of the attachments that can go on these 100 series mowers. So I'll make sure to drop that down in the description section below so that you can check that out as well. All right, so now let's go over the star of the show on all of these mowers, which is going to be the mower deck. Now what you're going to have here on the S160 is going to be the 48-inch edge cutting system from John Deere. Now this, once again, being the entry-level mower, is going to be that entry-level deck. So what you're going to have here is the 48-inch deck. This is going to be a single piece of stamped 12-gauge steel. You are going to have 4 anti-scalping wheels, 1 on each corner, and these are going to be adjustable to make sure that you are having those at the height that they need to be at whenever you're cutting, to make sure you don't get those scalp spots in your yard. You are going to have the bolt-on belt covers over on each side. Now these are very important because not only do these help protect that spindle and pulley that's underneath and the belt as well, it's also going to act as your belt guide. As you can see, these grooves here, so we need to make sure that whenever we are mowing with this machine that we do have these in place to help keep that belt in place and protect that belt the best that it can. Now also what you're going to see over here on the left hand side is going to be a washout port. So this is a system that helps you clean the underside of the deck by simply hooking up that water hose, dropping that deck all the way down onto a concrete or asphalt surface, turning on that water, turning on those blades, letting that churn, and then clean underneath. So that is going to be a nice feature. And then over on the right hand side, we're going to have that large opening there for that grass discharge. You are going to have a chute that is held up into place here on this mower, but this is going to be a protective chute to help push that material back and away from you whenever you're mowing with this machine. Now, as far as deck sizes go on this machine, this is going to be the only size of deck and the only deck option. So that is one thing about the S100 series mowers, is whatever deck they come with is going to be the only option. So if a 48 is not going to work for you, we want to make sure that we are looking into a different model before we get into this mower. Now, lastly, let's talk a little bit about dimensions, warranty, and price. So as far as dimensions goes, it's just going to be important if you are looking to store this in your garage or a storage shed, or if you're trying to get this through those different gates. These are going to be important. So lengthwise, we are going to be 75 inches long. Height-wise, the tallest point is going to be at the top of the seat. We're going to be right at 45 inches tall. And then width-wise, this is where it gets a little bit difficult, because sometimes people think, okay, if I have a 48-inch cut deck, then I need 48 inches of clearance to get through my gates or whatever those things are that we may need to be doing. What we have to keep in mind is that you are going to be wider than that 48 inches. So for instance, this machine with the chute all the way out, that protective chute, we're going to be at 61 inches wide from the edge of the chute to this edge of the deck. And then once we raise that chute up, we can get that down quite a bit, but we're still going to be at about 52 inches in complete width. And why that is you're going to have a little bit of bevel on each side of the deck, and then that deck is also going to be rounded, so it's not going to be just as wide as the blades are going to cut. It's going to be a little bit wider to give a little bit more room. So just make sure if you're looking into one of these mowers, you have at least 52 inches of width to make sure you can get this mower through your gates. Now, warranty on this machine, we're going to be looking at a factory warranty of 2-year or 120-hour, whichever comes first, but also keep in mind that you can add to that warranty if you would like to at that time of purchase. Just make sure that you're talking to your salesperson or your cashier, whoever that is that may be selling you this mower, and ask about that extended warranty. And then lastly, price. Now, the advertised price right now as of 2023 from the John Deere website on this machine is going to be $3,099, but make sure that wherever you are purchasing this mower, you're going in, talking to that salesperson, seeing if there are any incentive programs going on, any discounts that you may qualify for, or if you're looking at doing a finance plan, make sure to ask about those finance options. That way you can make sure to get the best price or the best payment to fit your budget. So guys, I hope this video helped you out, and I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also guys, if you're needing any John Deere parts at all, make sure to go check us out at 247parts.com. And as always guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.